I received this mail order sharpening today, and it says, "Dear Bonica, your honing and sharpening videos deeply impressed me. It was clear from watching them that you possess the knowledge required to return my favorite shears to health. The leading edge is damaged or worn. After that one fall that you hope will never occur." Oh, after that one fall that you hope would never occur. Yours, Luke. So, Luke, we're going to treat your babies with a lot of tender care. And these are expensive babies. These are these little gals are very, these are Kamisori Damascus shears. And they have some little trickiness to it with the screw and with the edge. And the biggest problem is going to be that they're loose. Ooh, we got little nicks all the way down. Now you can use your fingernail and feel this. So if you're watching this, you may be a shear sharpener, interested in shear sharpening, or you own one of these Kamisori Damascus shears and you want to know, what do they do to them? So I'm Bonnie Megowan, company's Bonica Shears, and I shoot a lot of YouTube videos on sharpening, mostly shear sharpening. And I teach shear sharpening. I teach online, I teach in person, and speak at some sharpening conventions. In fact, we have one coming up in Cancun in July, so I hope you can join us. What I'm going to do is take you through how I would sharpen these. We did a pair of these earlier this week. Now you might see Ricky in the background here. Wave, Ricky. And this is the second Damascus blade shear we've done this week, right? Yeah. And the other one, Ricky did the sharpening on it, and Ricky did a good job. But they were, we had some real problems with them. But they had more issues than what I'm seeing with these, because those other Damascus blades looked like the tips had been maybe bent or something. And we had some alignment issues, but this one should be fairly straightforward. So I'm going to get into sharpen it, show you how to do it. I think I'm going to use my Cymic Junior. I prefer the Cymic HD. We sell two different Cymic machines. Both of them USA made, and Ricky's over here using my HD. Needing to get some washers or parts, huh?
Yeah.
We also sell a lot of shear parts. So if you're a sharpener and you're looking for a place to get washers and bumpers and finger rest and all of those little things, we carry a lot of different sizes. This one we're going to follow what I call my recipe for sharpening. But first of all, before I start sharpening, I test the shears. And that's T.E.S.T. Let me turn it around so you can see my board here. So the T in the word test is for type. What type of shears are they? Well, these are Damascus steel Kamisoris. They're expensive shears. He's using them, he says, for slide cutting. Usually when you see these kind of curved blades like this, those are for slide cutting. E, what type of edge is it? Well, these are convex edges, but they have a lot of nicks on them. The rod line looks like it's in good shape. I don't think these have ever been sharpened before. S is a screw. Well, we know the screw is really loose, so before I would sharpen it, I make sure I can tighten the screw, because if I can't tighten the screw, there's no need sharpening it, because they're not going to cut right. And then the last T is test cut. So let's tighten the screw, and then I'm going to do a test cut with them. So this is a Wonky Screw. I'm not sure if I've seen this kind before. So you got to be careful sometimes in some of these screws. Let me take this tag off so we don't lose it. So I don't know if that moves or unscrews. It's not moving. It's not moving on me. That may just pop off. Who knows? Let's turn this. And I'm going to start out by tightening the screw. Sometimes that's all you have to do to make a shear work. Okay, we can definitely tighten it. So next we got to figure out how to take it apart. So I'm just going to see how it cuts. Oh yeah, it cuts awful. That's even putting a little side pressure. So we know we can improve it. So let's see about how we're going to take this screw out. I've never sharpened this particular model shear before, so you're going to be on the adventure with me. If you're not familiar with this Damascus steel, it's a type of layered steel, and it gives the best of your strength and flexibility together. Now this is my pyramid tool, my pyramid UFO. I like it because I can turn it to whatever part of my little UFO tool is needed. We have them bigger, but I like this smaller one for my hands. Okay, that screw's coming out. There's a washer there. I don't want to lose that washer. I'll put that in my basket. This comes out. And does that just pop off? Let's find something to push that with a little bit. I don't want to damage this little thing. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. And there's a washer here. I'm not too crazy about this screw, to be honest with you, because all it has is just friction and the split here that kind of hold it from backing out. So I prefer, personally, I prefer washers. I prefer screws that have some kind of like a little clicker plate. This here is what we call a bell washer. You see it's a little bit cup shape. And sometimes you'll see it cupped this way, sometimes that way. So I'm just going to put it back the way I see it, so I can put it back the way I took it apart. That's a 2000 grit Waterstone. I'm going to mark my blade. Just makes it easier to see. There we go. I got a new little stand. I probably will be selling it soon. It's going through some of the experimental tweaking stages, but it gives me a little bit more height for my stone. And I'm all the way up to the hilt. By the way, if you come for training, whether you're online or in person, I have a brand new I won't call it a training manual. I'm just going to, it's more like a textbook that's still in the tweaking stages, but it's far enough along that I'm sending it to people that are coming for training. And I really go into the most detail of any, I go into all the detail, all about the different types of shears. In fact, I have a whole section on these Damascus blade shears. And that ride line's looking pretty good. I'm happy with that. Ready to go to the machine. So I'm going to cover this up. But you'll be getting the new publication. You all the way down to the ribbon now, huh?
Yeah.
You need that other tray of shears or over here, Ricky? when you get those done. Go ahead and take back what you've got to Misty so she can get it out, but these two you've got to do. What we used yesterday was 1,000?
1,000, yeah.
Yeah, 1,000. Do we have a fresh 1,000? I don't think so.
Was it this 2,000?
Oh, we used a 2,000, didn't I?
I think so, yeah.
Let's go to like a, I'm going to go get a fresh 1,500. I got the worst plates in the world. I get all the leftover stuff. So let me go get a fresh, I'll get 1,000 and a 15 and a 12. There's a lot of times that you see me using worn pads, and because I have less scratches on them. But when I deal with the harder steels, a fresh pad is sometimes what I need. This one is 1,000, 1,200, 1,500. The higher the number, the finer it is. So the coarsest one that I have here is the 1,000. So this is my Cymek Junior. You really have to stand up to use it. I'm going to move the light over here. .1000 grit. And I'm going to set my clamp at 50. Isn't that what we did that Damascus steel yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah, 50. 45. 50. I might do a little scratch test just to make sure. Now sometimes these shears that have like the, you see they're very different. Sometimes they'll be two different angles. This might be. I'm going to do the scratch test on both of them, because this blade felt sharper than that blade. Sometimes they design them that way. Just always have to be aware of what's going on. I do like to use a clamp. I know some people freehand it. And on these shears, because of the design, the Damascus steel, what they do is layered. Then after they make the shear and they layer it, they put acid on it so you can see all the wood grain, well, not wood grains, but all the grains of the metal. I think that's like the way they used to make the old swords, and they could recognize their sword to name it Excalibur or whatever the name of the sword was. And because of the layers, so each one would be unique. So I'm going to just lay this on here, turn it, and the 50 looks about right. For the heck of it, let's go with this blade, and it's always good to start with the back blade first. I thought this one felt sharper, but if anything, it's a little bit lower. It might be at 45. Let me do a 45 degree. And these look like they've never been sharpened before. If they have been sharpened, somebody's done a really good job on them. Now I'm going to have to sharpen these a little bit like a bevel edge, because I don't want to take out that design in the blade. Yeah, 45 looks better. Kind of surprised me. So I'm going to go slow. I'm going away from the edge. And where usually I'm coming in this way, I'm going to come in pretty flat. Pull up a burr. I got a teeny tiny burr, and I could actually see it with this light. And I want to see if my burr is bigger than that nick that was in there. There was a pretty big nick right there. It's gone. So that was 1,000. I'm going to slap this. I thought I brought a 2,000 with me. I guess not. 1,500. Where was that? Didn't we have a 2000 yesterday?
Yeah, it's in here.
There we go. Slightly worn 2000 because I want to do a smooth edge on it. And I'm going to do a few things different than I do other shears. If you watch a bunch of my videos or come for training, I'm just going to do a slight rock. So it's a little convexy. I've stayed on that Hammond line. And I don't like to take it in and out of the clamp, so I usually will leave it in the clamp till I'm through with all these steps. And I'm going to steal your polishing pad too.
Oh yeah.
Where is it? In here?
Yeah.
Is that new polishing pad?
Yeah.
Man, you wore that down good. Let's spray it good with some diamond spray. Did a good job polishing.
Yeah. I really like polishing.
You like polishing?
Yeah.
That's like when Spin was here. Back in September, I had a representative from the factory in Germany came and spent a whole week here getting me up to speed on one of their shears that the warranty center for. And he was really into polishing. He wore out my pads. I'm not going to go that fast. Now, I did not change my angle. I'm at the same angle. I just want to get a nice, smooth, polished edge here. Oh, that looks pretty. And I didn't go crazy with the polish because I don't want to take the... And I don't know if you can see those lines in there. You hear me keep talking about it. See the lines on that blade? Pretty, isn't it? Pay a lot for it to look that way. If I polished it a lot and really worked with it, all those pretty lines would disappear. Okay, so I'm on to the front blade. I had someone here learning earlier that was having a lot of problems understanding the back blade and the front blade. Basically, the front blade has the fancy screw on it, and it's the blade that you look at. Usually it has the finger rests, but once in a while you'll see them with a finger rest on the other blade, so you can't go by that. But the reason I do the back blade first is if I'm going to mess up something, I'd rather mess up the back blade where they don't see it. You kind of learn off the back blade. That was not a good landing. I'm trying to talk and do this too. The reason I said it wasn't a good landing, my tip was up too high. I would have preferred to be more parallel. And I didn't change it. I left it at 45. I guess that's okay. That tip looks like it could be a little bit more. I got a nice burr, but I'm feeling a little bit of a nick right there at that tip. That looks good. Now, 2 weeks ago, I did what I think was one of my better videos I've done in years. I'll try to put a link to that at the end of this video. But I got the shear in. I get some interesting shears in for sharpening, like this one's interesting. But 2 weeks ago, I got a shear in that was a texturizer, and it had all kinds of issues that I wanted to show you for advanced sharpening. Now you see I'm doing a little bit of rocking, but not as much as I normally would. because I just want to work on that edge because I don't want to take all the pretty designs out of here. Now, in the factory, if they were sharpening, they would probably take that whole surface off and then put the acid back on it. I'm not remaking the shears. That's not what this is about. You like the little stand I've got? If you got these Simek Juniors and you don't have a tall bench to set them on, I like to put it on a stand because you don't want to be hunching over. You need to be standing up to do this. And these do not lend themselves well to sitting down because I don't want the dust blowing right into my face. More sharpening? Oh, that's for the person coming in. Thought you're bringing me more work, Misty. Oh, that looks pretty. Ooh, that looks pretty. So now, it's all about creating a burr and removing a burr. So I want to remove my burr, and I'm going back to my Waterstone. And I've covered it up as I was working. Create a little slurry. And this is 2000 grit. I probably could on these shears go to something a little bit finer, but I think this will be good. Pressure's over the pivot. Burr's gone. Burr's gone. That easy. Because these shears were nice. They were in alignment. Back to polishing. But now where I had the clamp set at 45, I'm going to move it up to maybe like 47, 48, between the 45 and the 50. The reason why is I want to do a little bit more polishing, remove any outside residual burr. That burr, if you leave a burr behind, it's sort of like having a splinter in your finger. Maybe you can't see it, but you can definitely feel it. And we don't want to feel any burrs left behind. And I'm going a lot slower than what Ricky does. Because I'm just wanting to... Not saying Ricky does it wrong. I'm just saying we do it different, which is fine. And you can take a microfiber cloth, but I just grabbed a cotton ball, and that's smooth as it can be. Ooh, these are going to come out nice. A little bit of polishing. Now the problem we had with the Damascus blade shears we did earlier this week, we sharpened them. They felt smooth. They were quiet. Everything looked beautiful, but they just weren't that sharp. They just didn't, they cut the wet tissue, but they didn't cut hair nice and crisp. So we had to go over them again. Sometimes on these harder steels, you've kind of pushed over a burr, but you haven't really created an apex on that edge, I guess. Okay, so we want to clean these up. Wiping them off.
Well, I was going to go to y'all place over there.
Okay, and let's put them back together. And you got to make sure you put them back together correct. So, square peg, round hole. I'm going to hold that in place. These don't go together as easy as you would think. that's it. And said for such an expensive shear, I'm not too crazy about this screw. Got all my washers in there. Struggle, struggle, struggle.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get my blood sugar. Test blood.
Okay. Ah! Drop the screw. How come nothing's ever simple, Ricky?
What's happening with those?
Well, just trying to put this back together, it's like the, I know that's supposed to go through that little square thing because it came out, but it's just not clicking back in there. I might have to force it. Well, I had to force it out.
Yeah.
So maybe I have to force it in. Don't like to force anything when you're working with these shears, because you got to figure if you're forcing it, there's probably something wrong.
Yeah.
There, I think that clicked into place. We'll find out when I put the screw in. Make sure it doesn't cross thread. Should turn with just my fingers here. Come here. Now it looks like it's going together. I don't know, it might be crooked. I've seen worse screws out there, but I'm not too crazy about this one. It's not my favorite. So I found out that maybe this is one of the exceptions to the rule that the square peg goes in the square hole, and that's why I couldn't put it together. Is that not crazy? All these years, I don't think I've ever seen that. But yeah, because this was on the back side. That's why it's so important to watch what you do, especially if it's a new shear you've never sharpened before, of how things go together. So I want to do my first close on a tissue. Probably paper towel might be a little thick, but just in case there's a burr left behind. And then when I get that, I want to double check the adjustment. Ah, it's too loose. Square peg, round hole. Square peg, square hole. Okay, so let's see how it cuts wet tissue, which tells me if all the burrs and nicks are gone. And then we'll cut some hair, and then we'll send his babies back to him. Oh, that's sweet. Remember, it wouldn't even cut dry before? Cuts sweet, looks good. Double check the tip, make sure the tip comes together. Cuts nice and smooth, nice and sweet. And he'll be able to slide cut with those. All right, so these beautiful Kamisori Damascus, are now ready to go back, and his babies are restored and cutting like new. How exciting. Hey, I'm Bonnie Megowan, and this is what I do. About every Monday, I'll be uploading a new video. So if you want to see them and catch them, make sure that you subscribe and hit the notification bell. If you have any comments or suggestions of some videos you'd like to see, make sure you let me know. I answer all the comments. Now, if you're looking for the tools that I used in this video and the different things that I used, those should be in links below or on the product page, or if not, you should find them on my website, bonika.com. There's all kinds of things in the description below on how you can connect and contact me. So stay sharp. I'll see you in the next video.